Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. From the beginning of this whole debacle, I've been very clear that Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, co-founder of Ethereum, deserves the benefit of the doubt. When this whole thing started, that was my first response. I was like, okay, let's give him some time to absorb what he's being told. Maybe there's some sort of misunderstanding. Maybe he's missing information. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, which is a pretty reasonable place to start, right? But what's happening now? At this point, he's now misrepresenting the facts that led to this debacle. He's now blaming attorney John DEATON for the alleged harassment that he's received from the XRP community. And I dispute the degree to which that's true. I'm not saying there's none, but my gosh. I think it's being overstated. He's shutting down communication. He doesn't seem to be any longer interested in resolution of anything, but I keep seeing from the XRP community that there's this olive branch being put out. Let's try and resolve this. Let's be civil. Let's be respectful. That's what so many people are saying. That was the starting point for most of us adults here in the room, right? But instead, Charles Hoskinson is now playing the victim card. That's what he's doing. And I'm going to prove what I'm saying, by the way. Please stick with me to the end of this latest Moon Lambeau hot jam if you can. Because when I stated at the outset here that Charles is misrepresenting facts, I'm going to back that up with his own words in full context. And I'll tell you, it really grinds my gears when I saw him going after attorney John DEATON. I think I've read 100% of what attorney DEATON has said on the subject. He has been civil. He's pushed back. He's critiqued. And I have, and many others have. But that's what you do. It's called civil discourse. But he is claiming that attorney DEATON is responsible for the alleged harassment he's received here. So I'm assuming everybody's caught up to speed on what kicked this all off. If not, don't worry if you're coming in late. Not a problem. I'm going to give you, trust me, I'm really going to break this thing down here. And then, by the way, the reason I'm talking about this is because he keeps saying that he's done, but then he keeps talking about it. He put out a 15-minute video today. A 15-minute video after saying he's done. And just let it go. He put out a 15-minute video. Okay, well, we're going to talk about it then. Do want to be clear at the outset, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Let's kick it off with this. This is a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber, Digital Asset Investor, DAI, and he wrote, "Welp, I'm blocked by Hoskinson. I didn't harass him, and I certainly don't condone anyone harassing him. I pointed to the facts of ETHgate and disagreed with some of the things he said that are provably untrue. The facts are still not in dispute." And amen, brother, you're 100% spot on in that. And from everything that I've seen from DAI, that is absolutely true. He's been nothing but civil. He's talked about how he likes Hoskinson. He put out that olive branch, like I was saying earlier. He's one of the people that did that. And he invited Hoskinson on his channel with John DEATON to just have a civil adult discussion. And then he gets blocked for it? Now, look at how Charles Hoskinson is characterizing this type of thing, though. Look at what he wrote. It's on your screen right here. "Lest ye think I put words in his mouth or mislead you." No, here's Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, wrote the following. "I think I've blocked most of the XRP trolls who continue to harass unprovoked. I've never seen a group so radically pick up a few words and run with it. Great job turning an ally into someone disgusted and totally checked out." So let me ask, I'm sorry, are you saying that DAI is one of the trolls who put out that olive branch, was nothing but civil, pushed back against your ideas, and rightfully so? Is he a troll? Is he one of the trolls that you blocked? I don't think that makes any damn sense. Then you have somebody from the community named Crypto Steve who responded to Charles and wrote, "Hey Charles, there are plenty of rational actors who are big supporters of XRP and Cardano. The craziest voices always shout the loudest. It'd be great if you'd have that discussion with John DEATON. I'm sure it'd be very respectful and very interesting." Now, let me pause to note here, in case you missed one of my recent videos when I was talking about some of this occurrences leading up to this. I noted that Charles Hoskinson retweeted something from an XRP community member who was calling for the community to dig up dirt on Charles Hoskinson. Now, Charles Hoskinson then was playing the victim there. "Oh, look, now the community, they all want to come after me." And I'm paraphrasing there, but that's effectively the communication he was sharing with the world to his, mind you, 950,000 followers And so I went to that Twitter thread from this XRP community member who was calling for people to dig up dirt on Charles. I didn't think that made sense, especially as early on as I was. I was just like, what does that have to... Charles wasn't even at ETH for very long. He's there for like half a year, as he cited. And so I went through the comments, and just for the record, I recorded it on my video, just scrolling through. I didn't read all of them, but I just scrolled through as I was talking and sharing my thoughts on it. And almost 100% of the comments were pushing back against the guy that was calling for the community to dig up dirt. People were like, whoa, 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 that's too much. Whoa, 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 that's not right. All those types of things. So that guy saying dig up the dirt was an outlier here. You know, and so it's not most XRP community members that are behaving in immature fashion and being unreasonable. Most want civil discourse and are acting like adults. But Charles Hoskinson is pretending as though that's not the case. And he responded to Crypto Steve here and wrote, "It hasn't been respectful at all. Why engage after this harassment? John is 100% responsible for creating this swarm of angry locusts. If I disagree with him, then more come at me. If I agree, then I have to grovel and apologize for offending them." Now, that could not be more incorrect. How dare he blame attorney John DEATON for all of this? He started it. And in fact, before recording this just some hours ago, I put out a thread. I'm going to share with you what I had to say. Because again, I break down the specifics of what happened, providing full evidence, full context, using Charles' own words to show you exactly what happened, and then to juxtapose that to what he's stating here that it's John DEATON's fault is completely absurd. And he has to know this. He has to know this, which I think is why he's shutting down conversation at this point. He'll say stuff on Twitter because he's got his almost 1 million followers, and only so many of them are XRP holders. But so like if we're in tune, we know what's going on. But to anybody not in the XRP community, they probably just have a lower opinion of the XRP community. And why would they? Why would you expect them to necessarily dig in and spend time figuring out exactly what's going on? To them, Charles Hoskinson is a trustworthy individual. I always trusted him. I don't know how to moving forward. I'm just being honest with you. And I'm from the beginning, a guy that was just like respectful, benefit of the doubt, that whole thing. Matt Hamilton, as a former Ripple employee, responded to Charles Hoskinson, and he said the following: "The point being, you are entitled to your own opinions, but not your own facts. You called basically, provably, documented facts about the case that have taken a lot of hard work to surface, a grand conspiracy, and refused to acknowledge that. That is why people are angry with you," and spot on. Then there was also this. XRP Crypto Wolf responded to Charles Hoskinson and wrote, "The XRP community is friends with the Cardano community. I have no problem with you, and most feel the same way. Don't let a few trolls make you stereotype an entire community. We should be united, more united than ever before." And shout out to you, XRP Crypto Wolf. You're hitting the nail on the head. That is exactly correct. You know, I've been holding Cardano since late 2017. I still hold it today. And it's just a shame that there are some actors that Charles Hoskinson is using as a scapegoat to not have to address the real facts surrounding what led to this. That's what's happening. And we're all the same. We're all thrown in the same bucket because of a few people. Does he genuinely believe that? Does he really? I don't know how. It's so illogical and irrational. I don't know how he could believe that. But he says he does believe that. Here's what Charles wrote in response to that. "It isn't a few trolls. It's been an endless harassment campaign for days. I'm done with it. I want nothing more to do with XRP. The community has accomplished nothing but harming itself. Congratulations." So he said he's done with it, but then he, on the same day, put out a 15-minute video. And we harmed ourselves? Charles, you were completely disingenuous here. And I can't wait to get the part where I'm highlighting all of this. I'll break the facts down, but this is ridiculous. I'm just kind of setting the stage so you can see where Charles is coming from here and how he's posturing. That's the reason I started with this before getting into the cold hard facts, which I think are the most interesting and fun. So if you do have the time, please stick around to the end of this video. You'll see I'm going to break it down in completion here. David Gockstein wrote, "The beef between some of the XRP community and Charles Hoskinson is nuts. How do we expect to unite and have a mature conversation when you all blasting each other?" Charles Hoskinson retweeted that and wrote, "Yes, it is nuts. It's the stupidest and most ridiculous argument. There is now no possibility of any resolution. I've been extremely clear on the meaning of grand conspiracy. Others in the community refuse to acknowledge or understand it, so we are talking past each other." So He says there's no possibility of resolution. The XRP community as a whole, just in a general sense, says there's a possibility for resolution even today. Talk to us. Talk to Attorney John DEATON, who, by the way, is not the reason that people are not thrilled with what you had to say, Charles Hoskinson. There's still there can still be civil discourse. You don't want it. At this point, you don't want it. You're in the wrong if you want to shut this down and pretend like it's just a bunch of crazy XRP people. Let's go ahead and just jump into this now. So here's the 15-minute video, and I transcribed a fair bit here to make the points that I ended up making. He simply wrote here, and this was from earlier today, 6:29 a.m. Central Standard Time, because that's the time zone I'm in. He wrote, on XRP. And the gist of it is a woe is me thing, XRP community bad, attacking me, but he goes on to articulate things and what led to this point that literally and provably are not true, and I prove it here. Please stick with me if you can, again, because I went to great trouble to create this. This is like a 20-tweet thread here, where I transcribed, I got screen grabs from the transcription, I pointed out so it's clear as day for anybody with half a brain to see that what Charles Hoskinson is peddling to his almost 1 million followers on Twitter in this 15-minute video is not true. So here's what I wrote. I've been an ardent supporter of yours for years. When this debacle began several days ago, I urged people to give you the benefit of the doubt. I spoke out publicly against the people who were vicious and rude, though most of the XRP community was critical but civil. You state that your words about a grand conspiracy have been taken out of context. If true, that would render critiques from many within the XRP community as wholly invalid. But were you really taken out of context? I transcribed the question you were asked during your interview on Thinking Crypto, the YouTube channel, and your answer. Full context is important, and I don't want to misrepresent anyone's perspective ever. Here it is. And it's on your screen. I'm going to read this to you right now. It'll just take a second here, so sit tight. Check this out. So here's what Tony from the Thinking Crypto YouTube channel said, and then Charles ended up responding. So here's what Tony said. Let's switch gears and talk a bit about the crypto market at large. Folks wanted me to ask you, what do you think about what's happening with the SEC and all they're doing with crypto regulations? A lot of people not happy with Gary Gensler, the recent Kim Kardashian PR stunt, as well as the SEC/Ripple lawsuit, and the judges, takes on what's been happening there as it relates to Ethereum and the amicus briefs and things like that. So pause here to note. That was pretty broad, right? It's perfectly fine. He just brought up a handful of different things, different topics. Charles could have gone down any route he wanted to go, said anything he wanted to say, and what was the first thing out of his mouth? He said the following. Yeah, well, there's some... Yeah, well, there's some people in the XRP community that are trying to invent this grand conspiracy that there was blatant corruption between the insiders at the SEC and Ethereum. And, I don't honestly think that that's the issue here. I think the issue is that both the CFTC and the SEC are ill-equipped from law and policy to properly regulate the cryptocurrency space. And so what they're doing is they're just trying to do it the way they think they can with the framework they have. The SEC only has the ability to regulate if something is a security. If it's not, then it's not their wheelhouse. And so they're one of the very few regulatory bodies that has a consumer, and because everyday people own stock, and so they have lots of people. They have lots of enforcement capabilities. And let's be honest here. Luna happened, BitConnect happened, OneCoin happened. Okay, so thousands of cases every year of bad behavior have occurred in our industry, and the losses have gone from millions to billions to almost $1 trillion in under 13 years. Faster than any industry before. And usually when you have an agency failure in the tens of billions of dollars, it does result in the creation of new law. For example, that would be the collapse of Enron that led to Sarbanes-Oxley, or the 2008 financial crisis, which led to Dodd-Frank Consumer Protection Act. Okay, so what's happened is the legislative branch hasn't done its job. They haven't showed up, and they haven't passed new laws to give new powers, new bureaucracies, new standards to properly regulate the cryptocurrency space, end quote. That is his full answer. I showed the full lead up, the entire full lead up to what led to him saying the thing that doesn't make sense about the inventing the grand conspiracy. I gave his full answer right there before they moved on to the next part. It's in its entirety. It's on its screen for everybody to see, undeniably the truth. And then my thread continues, and I wrote, in your 15-minute video today, you stated the following at the 1 minute and 10-second mark, claiming that this is the question you were asked during your interview on Thinking Crypto, which started this entire dispute. And you can read the whole thing right there. I'm going to highlight the part that I put in red here, which is the most relevant portion of this, but I wanted to type out everything so everybody's got it, all the relevant portion. And so, you know what, screw it. Let's just read the whole thing. I want to be extra super duper clear to make sure, and this is really short anyway. I want to make sure. So let's just do this right. Let's just be extra careful and safe here. I don't want to put words in Charles's mouth. So here's what Charles said. So it came as a tremendous surprise, the incredible wave of criticism I received for a single comment which was taken out of context from an interview. I was on an interview called Thinking Crypto at my ranch and casually asked a question about what I thought about a belief that the entirety of the Securities and Exchange Commission is engaged in a financial conspiracy with Joe Lubin and the Ethereum group to solely single out and go after Ripple. And as I said, this was a grand conspiracy, because it obviously is. There is no evidence that the entire Securities and Exchange Commission has decided to only go after XRP and no one else, end quote. So there you go. He's doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, whatever you want to call it at this point, on this idea that, yes, there really truly is a grand conspiracy. And that's how he characterized the question that host Tony Edward asked him. That's how he characterized it. My thread continues, though. I wrote, the problem is that is not at all what you were asked. You were not asked if the entire SEC was engaged in a conspiracy to solely go after Ripple. That's not even close to what you were asked. Again, here is the question you were asked by Tony during your interview. And let me just, again, read the relevant portion, because this is what he was actually led to him saying, invented grand conspiracy, that whole thing which led to all this. Here's what Tony actually said. A lot of people not happy with Gary Gensler, the recent Kim Kardashian PR stunt, as well as the SEC Ripple lawsuit, and the judges, takes on what's been happening there as it relates to Ethereum and the amicus briefs and things like that. And then my thread continues. Here is what you said in full context during your interview on Thinking Crypto. And I just want to read the part that I highlighted in red at this point, because I just covered this whole thing. But again, he said, yeah, well, there's some people in the XRP community that are trying to invent this grand conspiracy, that there was blatant corruption between the insiders at the SEC and Ethereum. And again, some of this is intentionally redundant because repetition matters. I just want to make sure that we're all picking up on this. So this was by design. And then I said, the part that I highlighted in red is a full and complete thought from you, in full context, followed by completely separate thoughts. No one is taking you out of context. You were not asked about the idea of the entire SEC being engaged in a financial conspiracy with Lumen and the Ethereum group, nor Ripple solely being singled out by them. I don't know of anyone in the XRP community that thinks it's true that the entire SEC is in a financial conspiracy and that Ripple is the sole victim, especially considering that leadership during the relevant time has now changed. However, it is a fact. It's a fact-based statement that there were improprieties among insiders at the SEC, as you call them. Attorney DEATON has highlighted facts proving this. Not maybes, not what-ifs, but facts. There is no conspiracy. So for you to say people in the XRP community invented a grand conspiracy, which you ended up being publicly criticized for, and then to claim you are being taken out of context, that's just not the case. To then make your 15-minute video today and claim you were asked something that you weren't actually asked is noteworthy. Why mislead your followers like that? So let me pause. I want to be super duper crystal clear here. He was asked a very vague thing in which he could have gone X number of ways and answered anything. He wasn't asked about a grand conspiracy. No, he was not asked about a grand conspiracy. And what did he claim that he was asked about after not being asked about a grand conspiracy? Well, here's how he characterized it in his 15-minute video today. And this is for repetition. I think it's important. He said, and this is from today, I was on an interview called Thinking Crypto at my ranch and casually asked a question about what I thought about a belief that the entirety of the Securities and Exchange Commission is engaged in a financial conspiracy with Joe Lubin and the Ethereum group to solely single out and go after Ripple. No, you weren't. No, you were not asked that. I've highlighted on the screen during this video multiple times, you absolutely, unquestionably were not asked that, and you're claiming you were asked that. And people that don't look into this outside the XRP community, well, you already built their trust up. You got almost 1 million followers. I guess they're just going to believe you. Why are you doing this, Charles? Why would you do this? This doesn't make any damn sense. Let me go back to my thread. Where was I here at this point? I think it was down here. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I think I read this one. Let me just read it again anyway, for continuity. To then make your 15-minute video today and claim you were asked something that you weren't actually asked is noteworthy. Why mislead your followers like that? You went from incorrectly stating people are inventing a grand conspiracy about specific insiders to speaking as though the community generally believes something that would be a general conspiracy. That the entire SEC is in financial cahoots and that it's all to harm Ripple. But no one believes that. That would be crazy. If you think you're being taken out of context, you'll have to explain to me what context is missing or misrepresented, because I'm just not seeing it. Again, look at your initial statement on Thinking Crypto YouTube channel, which you weren't even prompted to talk about, and tell me what context is missing. And I'll just read the top part that's in the red box. And this is from Charles Hoskinson. Yeah, well, there's some people in the XRP community that are trying to invent this grand conspiracy that there was blatant corruption between the insiders at the SEC and Ethereum. My thread continues. The part I highlighted in red, which is in full and complete context, is the reason the community criticized you. You are not being critiqued for the reasons you asserted in your video. In fact, most people agree with just about everything else you have to say on regulatory issues. I'm 100% against the rude and vicious comments towards you, but civil critique is warranted, especially after your video today in which you incorrectly described the series of events that actually occurred. Your problem is that your comments have been taken... oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. My own tweet I read wrong. Your problem isn't that your comments have been taken out of context. The problem for you is that your comments are in context. Acknowledging that one single point would have prevented the 4-day fallout that ensued. The XRP community didn't start this, and it's not fabricated. You don't deserve to be crucified over this, of course not. But I personally am simply disappointed. I think that's how most people in the XRP community feel about this. I'll leave it at that. So that was my thread. So as far as the motive, I don't even want to delve into that. You guys tell me what the hell you think it is. I don't know what the motive for this could be, but I don't see how it's possible that he's unaware of these facts. I mean, look, he was there for the damn interview. He knows what he was asked. He knows that what he represented today as the question posed towards him isn't the question that was posed to him. He knows that. He's not stupid. So why is he saying something that clearly, factually is incorrect? It's right there. And if you want to go check out the videos. You can find his video. Again, it's the one that looks like this. It says on XRP. You can do an advanced search to find it. Just type in on XRP. Tag him right there. You can find it right away. You can watch it. It's 15 minutes. You'll have a great time. You can see on Tony's Thinking Crypto YouTube channel. You can see the entire interview. You can check this all out for yourself if you think that I'm making up fake transcriptions or something. I swear on my life I'm not. Check it out. It's absurd. It's hard to believe that this is a real thing. It really is at this point. It's just, I went from, okay, give him benefit of the doubt to, okay, It's weird that he's really kind of like holding his ground here when the facts aren't there. Did he have time to consume all of the facts here? Is he, oh, he's going to talk to John. Oh, wait, he's no longer going to talk to Attorney John DEATON. And then more goes on, and then he makes himself out to be the victim. Like, whoa, 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 the victim, but you started this. And then another day passes, and now he's just saying things that are blatantly not true. So I went from, come on, give him the benefit of the doubt, to what in the ever-loving hell is going on here in a matter of several days. After respecting the hell out of this guy for several years, I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening here. It doesn't make sense. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.